Hi, welcome to the BBC. Cheryl here with the top news hour for today. And we have a special guest from Eastern Europe who is currently living in a communist environment. And we like to take his opinion, and we have some questions from today. Hi, thanks for coming.
No problem.
So, my first question is, how has the government affected your life and around you?
Well, in Eastern Europe, the government really pushes the oppression of the people. It's difficult to live under the oppressive system. It's a different mindset than in the West. People are constantly in an oppressive state of mind. They think they might be free in doing some activities, but they've just grown up under the system, so they don't actually feel real freedom because they're doing the things that are prescribed by the party, the activities that are sanctioned by the party.
Could you describe some of those activities for us today?
Well, some activities such as reading or watching a movie, they are limited by the government because the government controls the state media. So when the media is controlled, you're only viewing the things that the government wants you to view. For example, certain events in the West or some things that are happening in the Soviet Union may not be shown if they have a negative effect on the people's belief in the communist system.
Thanks for that input. And second of all, what do you think the Soviets have done? Like, what has the impact been like?
Well, the Soviet system is in the first place very corrupt. Because in the Soviet Union, you have old bureaucrats that are just sitting in Moscow, not doing anything. The average age in the Soviet government is around 60 or 70. So you have people that grew up in the Stalinist era and are still in a very Stalinist mindset. So reforms not coming from the East, really. We haven't seen any reformers. All we have are politicians that are basically dying. If you look at Brezhnev or Yuri Andropov, they're just sitting in Moscow at their constant medical attention, and they're not leading the country. What we need is a real leader who will implement the reforms that are necessary to save communism.
And what are your opinions on the West and the intervention that there's been?
Well, the West has, in some ways, prolonged the Soviet system, and especially have made things worse for the citizens in the Soviet Union. Firstly, because of the arms race. The arms race devotes so much cash and government spending that could be spent on the people. And they could be spent to feed the people, and to clothe the people, and to house the people. But instead you see all of that going into the military, my apologies. And the military is floundering away. And they're spending massive amounts of money on tanks, missiles, things that are really not necessary for the people's security. And that's been prolonged because the West has continued with its own arms race and is always pushing forward for new nuclear weapons. And then the Soviet Union, of course, not wanting to lose out in the battle of the superpowers, increases its military budget. But on the other hand, if you look at maybe some of the work the CIA has done, for example, supporting solidarity in Poland, that's a positive area in recent years. And I think it's by the US funding not only those grassroots dissidents, but also helping the global diplomatic situation, for example, by implementing treaties that will reduce the amount of nuclear weapons. Yeah.
That's some great input. My last question before you go is, what is the Afghanistan war to you like?
The Afghanistan war, again going along the lines of this military topic, has been a burden on the Soviet people. You have to understand that the Soviet war was really not thought out well, because the British had hardly been able to unconquer Afghanistan, and then we put in our people, we put in a communist-backed leader, and that really did not work out well, because first of all, communism does not mix with the predominantly Islamist mindset in Afghanistan. And then we've been stuck in this war which is just draining our resources and is really just turning the public opinion against the government. It's become our own Vietnam in that sense.
Great, thanks for coming today.
No problem. I hope to be on this show again soon. Thank you.